us. And hello, everyone. I'm hoping my setup is working because Windows updates not liking my PC. I'm not actually sure if everything's currently working properly. And
You've been in close communication with IT, though, right? They've been
yeah,
kind of configuring the tubes.
yeah, it's been a long day. Lots of talking to IT and going backwards and forwards, and lots of restarts of the computer, and then frantically making sure that everything is working as intended. Ha! That's one phrase in there. Ha!
Hey, at least the PC's not having issues due to weather-related issues.
Oh no, I hear
That's very
you've
lucky
got
about
all the weather related issues today.
that. We do. I'm bundled up, as you guys can see. Got this awesome trapper hat. World of Tanks branded, mind you. It is a chilly one here in Chicago. Um, Hope any of you here in the Midwest area in the States are also keeping warm. It's not going outside for very long. Try not to go out there at all if you don't have to. But yeah, it's going to be a brutal weekend for us.
See, I've heard that it's gonna be fairly mild, and if you can believe it, chat, a lot of rain. Can you believe
You
it?
guys got slammed with snow last weekend, right?
The week before, we had all
Weekend
of
before? Okay,
the snow pain, which it
right.
caused. It caused a few issues. It didn't cause that many issues, if I'm honest, when we compare it to you guys. They are predicting that maybe towards the latter end of the month that we will maybe see snow again, but it's the UK. We'll just hold our breath and wait.
Fair enough. Typical Chicago weather here. I mean, last week we had some snow, then it kind of warmed up, only for it to get cold again. And if you're not out there, like if you guys have driveways and sidewalks to tend to, uh, like you have to get rid of that snow. Otherwise, it just becomes a sheet of ice plastered onto your driveway, and that could stick around for well, however long until the weather kind of picks up.
Ooh. Yeah, you
And
can
believe
keep
it,
all of that.
yeah. And believe it or not, it's actually as of right now, it being 1 o'clock CST time. Um, it's a little bit warmer than it was this morning. And when I say warmer, it's still like -4 degrees Fahrenheit, as opposed to I think I saw -12 this morning.
Some people were saying that on Discord as well, and that the wind chill was making it like -30, it feels like, and I'm like, you can keep it.
I've
I
yet to step outside to get that wind chill, and I don't really plan to going outside.
No, I wouldn't plan to go outside either. But anyways, since apparently most of chat is also having the same weather issues, how much have you been liking the new content, chat, from, the GC contract? How many of you have completed that? We've had the British dual barrels since the last we spoke. And we had that new tank on Tuesday, the SK-105. I'm not carrying on with the rest of it because I bet you I'll say it wrong.
Kirosier.
So yes, how are you all finding the new content? I must admit, I've not had chance to play the SK yet, but I was enjoying the British dual barrels last week. Can open it, absolutely lovely.
Nice. Show of hands. How many people have gotten all the way to the can opener in tier 10 of the dual barrels?
I have, I have.
Nice.
There was not any cheats, honest.
I imagine not.
Promise. I promise,
Just a
chat.
good old grind on through.
Completed it in an hour. It was so easy. Oh, but yes, lots of new content. There's more content for us to talk about in a bit. But first things first, we're gonna backtrack a bit to Tuesday. Because I'm sure a lot of you in the chat may have been affected by the L01 error, or you knew of somebody that was affected by it earlier on in the week, where we saw lots of you not be able to log in and actually play many tanks due to that error. Now, this error is fixed. It was fixed late on Wednesday evening. Our engineers spent a lot of hours hunting down the precise issue and how to fix it. and we tracked it down to an issue where the override was unable to be pulled down from the distribution network when you're on certain ISPs. We have already taken the steps to prevent that issue from happening again. So hopefully, fingers crossed, engineers have done absolutely outstanding job to get us fixed and to make sure that, we shouldn't see this again in the future. But obviously, quite a few of you weren't able to get into the game, so over the coming weekend, starting at midnight UTC, any player who logs in until 23:59 UTC on Sunday will be granted 2 days of premium. So that's just for logging into the game over the 2 days of the weekend. And then for those of you who reached out via Discord and via support during the issue and was helping us with providing information to track down the issue, you guys will also be receiving 2 Wargaming approved emblems as a small thank you for your help whilst we were tracking down those issues. And yes, we do once again apologise for any inconvenience that was caused by the issue, and like we've mentioned, we have already taken steps to prevent it from happening again.
Yeah. Well said, KB. And then even internally, a number of us, even on the dev side, have run into the issue trying to track down exactly what is going on here. So we had top people trying to really deliberate and get on top of making sure we get the fix out to you guys promptly.
Yes. So that's that bit. That was many of our early week, wasn't it, Bam?
Yeah.
It caused a lot of meetings, it caused a lot of head scratching, but we got there, we got it fixed. And it wasn't the only thing to happen on Tuesday. I feel some of this may have got hidden a little bit whilst we solved all of those issues. Some of you have mentioned enjoying the SK, others of you have mentioned not really enjoying the SK. But if you didn't know, it is our newest addition to Cold War. Bam, do you want to maybe introduce this tank to those who has maybe
is this
not
Uncle
seen
Bam
it yet?
Story time?
Uncle Bam story time, yes.
Everyone's favorite segment. All right. Okay, the SK-105A2 Cuirassier. Although the Austrian army already had tanks like the M47 Patton and the Charioteer in its roster of armored vehicles, in the 1960s, it sought to add new lightweight anti-tank vehicles that was mobile enough to handle mountainous terrain. The firm Sauerwerk, I apologize because I may have butchered the pronunciation. This was developed a concept using a tracked APC as its base, along with a French-designed FL-12 oscillating turret, which allowed the vehicle to mount a 105mm rifled gun. The first prototype of the SK-105 completed in 1967. The Austrian army took possession of the first production vehicles in 1971. Equipped with its 6-round autoloader with 2,880 potential burst damage, use this to knock out multiple low-health enemies or remove a large chunk of health from a single enemy. While it may appear as a light, this tank is designed to function as a tank destroyer. Use its small size to take up stealthy positions and punish the enemy from a distance. With only a 320 horsepower engine, it's a little sluggish to get moving, but it does have a high top speed of 70 kilometers per hour to relocate as the battle progresses. And that is, of course, the SK-105A2 in a Watma store near you.
Oh, that marketing spiel at the end.
Just gotta sneak that in a little bit.
Just sneaking that in, just sneaking it in. But it's not the only thing that came into the game on Sunday. God, I'm losing time. In the game on Tuesday. Sunday updates, that would cause chaos. But yeah, in the game on Tuesday, we also had the Sturmtiger on track begin, which really, all I can say is derp, derpity derp. I think that sums up the line. And most of you will know what an on-track is by now. It's a speedy way to grind up your tech trees. So yes, derp. Lots of derping.
That tier 9 might be a little rough to get through, but trust me, it's worth it. Just kind of push on and get to your way to the Sturm.
A little rough.
A little rough.
A little rough. Yeah, little rough. I pressing X to doubt. Let's put it that way. Right. Anyways, I am not showcasing the tier 9 for any of you lot. You got that last April. I am never touching it again. Ever. It's not happening. I did it once for you lot. I'm never doing it again.
We'll find a way to change that. Let me just say, there's a lot of background conversations. We understand and hear the feedback about it. Even Mr. SPG and I had a lot of conversations regarding the bar.
Oh, I'm sure Mr. SPG has lots of ideas for that tank. Right, but anyways, that's this week. All done and dusted. We've covered everything. I think we should go into more exciting news. Maybe some stuff we're looking at towards in the future, and maybe some sneaky tidbits that didn't make it into a certain article this week.
Ooh.
Maybe.
Extra juicy details.
Well, we had to keep some things stream exclusive.
Yes.
So, I think it's about time we spoke a bit more on our Roadmap 2026 Part 1. So,
and this is something the players may have already had their sights on. Yes, KB?
Well, we kept getting asked, are you doing a roadmap again? Are you doing a roadmap again? And it was just like, I'll stay quiet for now because, well, we're still in the process of working out what goes on and where we can get and what we could even build for the first half of the year. As people were going, roadmap, yeah, roadmap. And then we had that stream on the 9th and we were just like, you might want to come back on the 23rd. I don't think they expected us to drop the article on Wednesday, though. I think a lot of people went, roadmap? Wait, roadmap?
That came out of the blue.
That came very out of the blue. And in fact, considering I now know that he's definitely in chat and he's not just lurking away while trying to dig out some snow, we should say congratulations to a certain Sinster1.
There he is. Yeah, congratulations, Sinster.
There is a lovely shiny purple tick that he keeps parading around. And that's 2 in a month. I am amazed, both of you. Well done. Wonder who will be next. But yes, anyways, back into it. Back into the roadmap. And I think we're going to start with the 12th anniversary. Are you feeling old yet?
Yes, absolutely. Wild to think we're coming up on 12 years of World of Tanks Modern Armor on our console platform. More to come on that, of course, when we encroach on the anniversary and the details. But very excited.
But you won't have to wait too long to find out about all those details. And, well, we have got something special planned. Something we think quite a few of you will appreciate and enjoy. And we're not going to spend too long on it, but you should stay tuned for potentially, maybe, 2 whole weeks of ranked battles.
Oh.
Oh, indeed.
Okay.
More details to come, but you guys heard it. I will let you guys do with that as you will, but we think you guys will appreciate and enjoy it. And, well, there is also, of course, the second New Year coming up, the Lunar New Year.
Yep.
I heard you were reading into some horoscopes and could tell us what the year is this time around and who will experience the most fortune and abundance.
Well, 'tis the year of the horse. Well, the fire horse, to be more in particular. They say dogs, sheep, tigers, and horses are predicted to experience the most fortune and abundance. So shall we all just play maybe some tiger tanks for the year, just to be part of the Lunar New Year?
I mean, the tiger tanks are cool. And Well, I'm fairly sure some of our German compatriots in chat will absolutely say yes to that. And it does make me flash back to last Tankfest and King Tiger. You know, chat, I was going to get it in one way or another. So, some of them will go, oh, you're making us jealous again.
The Buffington Tank Museum still does their Tiger Days, right?
They do.
You get the Tiger 131 out there?
They do. They do. I do sometimes think I should go down.
Yeah, I'd love to be a part of that event.
Mm-hmm.
One of these years.
One of these years. It's just deciding when to go down. Do you go down in April where it's nice and spring fever, or do you go down in autumn when it's all a bit more cozy? Well, you know, right? Well, anyways, before we go down that rabbit hole and make some people in the chat extremely jealous, because they would love to go as well.
Highly recommend. Take the opportunity when you can, whether it's during the Tank Fest or any one of their events they do around the year. It is, if you're a tank enthusiast, it's a place to be.
Yes, it is. But also, we've been working on some regiment stuff, haven't we?
We have. We've been trying to keep up our promise to deliver milestone over milestone, whether it's large or small, regiment-related updates into the game. This next one, of course, will also be a relatively small one, here being the regiment's recruitment that we have up on screen now. Soon you'll be able to see a list of potential new regiment members under the Manage tab. From there, you can view a player's details and send that individual an invite. Fairly simple. And while this is not directly linked to the recruitment side of the feature itself, but still fantastic, players can also now send friend requests to regiment members within our social menu.
And of course, as we've mentioned several times whenever we talk about the latest regiment updates, it won't be the last one. We are working hard away in the background, or at least parts of the team are working hard away in the background to keep bringing more updates to you with the regiments. We've heard loud and clear during this week that you guys want to see communal regiment tasks as a big one that's been mentioned. And I'm sure Mr. Bama over here won't be surprised to hear that people want regiment battles.
Still a hot topic on their minds, yes.
Still hot topic. Still a hot topic.
We're still having a lot of conversations, designs, and even redesigns of how to approach it. No news to share today is what I should stress. If you guys are like waiting for some news, that won't be the case.
I think some of them were hoping. I think they were hoping. But instead, we can go into a bit more detail with the next topic. Because, well, people have already been asking about the deep rifling mechanic, and they're asking about the Grom, because, you know, the Grom's been in since, what, 2024? And if that will end up with the mechanic, and, well, we did spoil it in the article that we are working on the Polish TD line with mechanic. Lots of new tanks coming your way once this one finally gets around to it. So
no dates to specify just yet.
No dates. It's in development, which you guys, you all know what that means. It means it can happen at any point.
Yeah, so this tech tree branch comprising of 6 researchable vehicles spanning from tier 5 up to tier 10. The tiers 5 through 7 will feature classic turretless tank destroyers with traditional gameplay. However, it's the tiers 8 through 10 that introduce the innovative shell mechanics, enabling vehicles to deal maximum damage while in close combat. That maximizing the damage is with the new Star Tray shells. The Polish tier 8 through 10 TDs come armed with unusual deep rifled guns. These guns enable them to fire Star Tray shells at incredible velocities. The tier 9 and 10 vehicles, their standard shells typically travel roughly around 1,700 meters per second. while the special one will fly at 2,000 meters per second. These shells are most effective within 50 meters, where they can deliver the maximum amount of damage. However, their damage will gradually decrease with the distance that the shell flies, encouraging you to engage in that close combat. And yes, as KB had mentioned, for those of you asking about the Grom, we will be incorporating the deep rifling mechanic and Star Tray shell to the Grom. But I do have a question for you, the players, on this. How would you guys prefer to see this mechanic get added to the Grom? Could this be just something it gets wholesale and now it just changes all its firing mechanism with the deep rifling? The alternative, like we've done with some other premium tanks in the past, is introduce a fresh new package to the tank that gives you the deep rifling or the standard firing mechanism if you so choose. So just kind of a question to you, the players, how you might feel on that one. Let me stress this again. It is coming to the Grom. By all means, we will be adding it to the Grom, whether it's a package or no package. Kind of want to get some sentiments and feedback from you, the players.
And for all of you that are currently debating it in chat, because I can see you all going with one or the other, make sure to put that in Discord too, in the Roadmap 2026 thread, so that I can track that and we can go off all the player feedback and pick the right option.
Yeah.
So yes, make sure you put it into the Discord as well, but I will be capturing the Twitch chat as well, so don't panic too much if you don't like using Discord.
Mm-hmm. And a great comment I see from Shield Messer saying, I think the package is the best, but Grom is currently overpowered how it is now. Good call out, because very well, if we don't do the package route, there might be some tuning to the damage output that the tank would otherwise get. But providing a package is just an alternative in which gives us the flexibility to tune that shell differently, or I'm sorry, that gun differently when it's its own package.
You don't understand what we mean by package, so it's actually quite an old term now from previous systems. So when we say package, we mean your gun options. So
Correct.
when you go into your loadout, you will see... Oh, the people are getting...
We got ads.
Ads. We've got ads. We'll give it a moment. Maybe it tells me how long... No, it does not. Ah, dear. Well, hopefully somebody will tell me in chat when they are back. Done, we're back. Okay, right, all good. Right, anyways, when we say package, we mean an additional gun option to your tank. So you know in your tech trees you will unlock different guns, different tracks. We can give the same to your premium tanks where you get an extra gun option. So very similar to the Equalizer, it has two gun options. You can use one for standard fire and one for its more barrage fire.
Yeah.
That's what we mean.
Modules.
That's what we mean by package. We don't mean that it will come out as a brand new tank when we refer to packages.
Correct.
And no, it won't cost any gold or silver because it's an update to your existing tank. And it's an update to your existing premium tank as well.
Yep.
So yes, let us know. Let us know what you think about it. We have both options on the table. And, well, whilst you're putting that into the chat, maybe you can give us your best guesses to what that mystery World War II one is. We're not going to say anything more on it. We're going to let you guys have a good old guess and see what you come up with. I have been enjoying this week reading through some of the guesses on Discord and everywhere, so we'll see what else the players come up with. No, Mr. SPG, you're not allowed to guess.
Sinister got it. The helos are coming in. A helo tech tree line.
So yes. Is it my quad barrel aviary? Oh dear.
Quad barrel.
That's not even the worst suggestion that Steve-O's ever given us, if I'm honest. I think we had an 8-barrel TOG in the works at one point with different caliber guns on it. Yeah, that was interesting. Not sure how it would work, but it was interesting. But what else have we got? Yes, of course. We've got bits on the under exploration. Because not only have we got stuff in development, we're always exploring stuff, stuff and things, based off sometimes what you, the players, are bringing to us, or sometimes one of us has those light bulb moments and goes, hold on a minute, what if we do this?
Yeah.
So, why don't we start with the HUD updates that we're currently exploring, and then we will go into the base capture, delay,
Sure.
timings, etc.
For sure. Yes, so we are exploring various HUD updates, and I want to be clear because I know a couple of years ago we had already done kind of a layout and cleanup of our HUD in the game itself, taken a lot of feedback. We ran some surveys, ran this by our super testers as well. And it's kind of time that we revisit and look at the HUD once more. But I want to be clear in terms of what I'm talking about here. We're not going to be redoing or giving you guys a brand new look into what the HUD can be. But we do want to clean up and better manage with all the new systems, the gun mechanics, the tank mechanics that we've added into the game, do a better job at clarifying the information on the screen for you guys so you understand the input you can use to maybe switch your mode. Here's a good example. We've had siege mode into the game for so long, and if you guys are on the standard control scheme, that is just left onto the D-pad to enable typically your TDs to enter siege mode. That has now evolved into a kind of more of a modal input that we use for various other tank mechanics and gun mechanics in the game, such as, I don't know, the boost for the rocket boosters on the Chinese rocket line, or the dual barrel tanks. And that's not very well communicated on the HUD, and trying to think of better iconology and descriptors that help inform you guys. But wait, that's not all. We also want to do better to clear out the layout of where we show the ammo, secondary weapons, as well as your consumables on screen. Make it very clear and to the point when you guys are swapping your ammo types or switching your weapons, that there's not, I would argue there's almost too much information to digest on your HUD currently. And we want to make that a little bit easier to digest and quickly swap between your gun types and your ammo types as needed. Additionally, looking at the tank schematic in your lower left-hand corner of the screen, doing a little bit more cleanup there, making it easier to quickly identify if your tank has received any sort of module damage or your crew has been knocked out or injured. Because right now it is there's a lot of information all kind of clumped up and clustered around that tank schematic image. And we want that information to be easier for you guys to see in the heat of battle. Because it is hard, let's be quite honest, taking your eyes off the center screen and from your reticle to see what's going on, what should you heal or repair, could really cost you a confrontation in battle. Other things on the HUD, improving the base capture status. I see some people talking about base caps. We'll talk about that one as well. But generally, what I'm talking about is on the HUD, the actual base cap circles and the confusion that we see from players and some feedback we get, that it can be difficult sometimes when both teams on, say, standard battle are capturing a base, and it might be hard to discern, wait, which base is actually ours being captured and who's actually ahead, right? So we're going to be cleaning that up, making that much clearer. I feel like a broken record. I've used clean up and clear a lot already. But that's generally the goal of what we're trying to accomplish with the HUD. But the big one I want to share with you guys, and this is leaning into your feedback and requests for HUD improvements into the game. Because yes, we want to look into possibly bringing some classic HUD options, something a little bit customizable, allowing you guys maybe to swap from the current more modern HUD we have now, that perhaps you go to something that we used to have in the game that we'll call a classic HUD. Because we know, for those of you that have been with us for so many years, you might recall your reticle used to hold information such as a reload bar as well as your health bar and more coloration on the bars. Those are things that we still think strongly on. And even when we did our HUD rework a couple years ago, that was a thing we were prominently thinking about restoring. But because we have such a new audience into the game since the introduction of, say, Cold War, putting it to a survey and getting a lot of feedback, it was a very divided vote in terms of whether we go back to that kind of graphic or go with something a little bit simpler. Of course, we went with a simpler, more modern approach, but that's not to say we are writing off the desire and the appeal the old classic HUD has offered players. So this is not me saying that we're going to be getting rid of the current HUD. This might be more of providing you guys the option to go back to a more classic HUD and maybe even a third option that we won't touch on just yet. And then lastly, I'll just make mention of also looking at restoring the lead marks on your reticle to the HUD as well, as that has a lot of, it helps with skill to be able to better lead your shots against your targets, having that present. So there is designs and conversations exploring around that as well. And of course, this is all under exploration items. All of this is no dates to give right now. Some details might, we may have to shift prioritization, but we'll do our best to provide that transparency once we have more to share with you guys in the future.
Yes, absolutely. There's also a certain Mr. Zotz in YouTube chat who's just confused everybody over there by saying ahoy.
Ahoy!
Ahoy!
Ahoy, Mr. Zotz!
He sat there making our tankers go, eh? What? The wrong game, surely. Oh, dear. But yes.
That's, of course, our creative director. You guys, most of you are probably familiar with him. He'll likely be a face back on stream in the very near future.
Well, I'm thinking of maybe trying to drag him on around our anniversary and maybe giving him a bit of a nudge and saying, yeah, come play some games with us. Come have some fun. We'll see if chat think you're as good as me. Right, but anyways, sidetracking again. We don't want to keep sidetracking. Do apologise if anybody can hear any weird squeaking in the background. I can hear the pup.
From me?
No, I can hear the pup in the background. She's outside the door. She's not happy that pretty much everybody is out and she can't sit on anybody's knee. So yeah, she's being needy. But
puppy's gonna pup.
Puppy's gonna pup. She's 2 as well, and she's still a ginormous pup in herself. And yeah, okay. Anyways, sidetracking again, base capturing and delaying the timer. And yes, lots of you have maybe floated this idea in the past of you don't particularly enjoy the games where your bases get captured within the first couple of minutes. If you meant right, if I bring her in, she isn't moving. It's just right. Okay, 2 seconds, chat, because she's also not exactly little anymore.
The big dog, or people asking, have the puppy on your lap.
Come on, up you come, because I can't lift you up. There you go, chat. There is one pupper. And yes, I am too small for the doggo to be able to sit on my knee. So hopefully she's just going to curl up underneath me or try and find a way around to the bed. Maybe, possibly. Go on,
we'll have
underneath.
to create like a pet stream segment for our weekly streams.
No, you're going to want to go out, aren't you? Right. Yes, I didn't think you'd like the small space in there, puppet. Oh dear. Yes, I didn't think that she would like the small space that I have once we go into stream mode. The
Sure.
doggo's name is Luna. She is a Labrador crossed with a Rottweiler, though you wouldn't ever believe it because she is a massive softie.
Oh.
In fact,
Cute.
the worst she does is try to kick me off my own bed. So, anyways, back to it. We were just about to start talking about the base captures and how you guys had floated in the past that maybe we should look into delaying when they start. And I can see, is it that side that's moved? Or is it that side that's moved?
Well, okay, I can go ahead and take this one away as well. Yes, this was something you, the community, have been asking for. And we had talked about this in a previous stream when we went into deep diving on a lot of quality of life initiatives and live tests and experiments that we've been trying to do in the game. This isn't something we've forgotten about, but in terms of priorities and as we got into our Halloween and our Winterfest months and seasons, this is something that sat a little bit on the back burner. But now that we're getting rolling in 2026, it is back on the docket and very much something we are going to be testing with you guys in the future. So let's talk a little bit about what this is. So we are investigating a delay to the base capture, and the idea is in some modes which have capturable bases, more specifically focused on standard battle and probably encounter mode, we would set the base to not be available for capturing for a select period of time. As an example, maybe the first 2, maybe even 3 minutes, your HUD would showcase something that's like saying that the icons are locked or the base circle itself has some sort of way to communicate to you as a player that you cannot capture this just yet. And we also have to communicate some kind of a timer on screen of when that can be unlocked and ready for test. We are currently creating this system to also be very flexible, so we can determine perhaps which game modes as well as tier ranges this should apply to. The current target, I want to be very clear on this and hear it from you, the players. We want to focus this base cap delay specifically in Cold War mode. Because we do see both in data as well as feedback from you, the players, that's where the early base cap stuff happens way too much. That's not to say World War II is off the table, but we want to try and test the waters in Cold War first. Because it's not only just about when your base gets captured and you guys couldn't get back in time to defend it, or the team went down a flank that wasn't well defended. It does stink when you guys have a loss when that happens. But quite honestly, on the reverse side, even for the team that won and got the cap, this is also it can be a disappointing experience for a match to end within 2 to 3 minutes if the base is captured so soon. So that is something we are looking into. And again, I see the comments in here. There's some people kind of for it. And yes, people suggesting maybe 2 to 3 minutes is too soon or too late or not for it at all. This is why it's something we want to test around with you guys. And again, Cold War being the primary target first. And yeah, other ideas also open to it. I stress that we are going to try this out as based on a timer. We also hear it from you, the players, that maybe it should be bases are allowed to be capped after X amount of tanks are destroyed into the game itself. These are also things we're exploring.
I've also seen from people who have read the roadmap article and been commenting on it that not everybody thinks we should go down this pathway. So there's going to be, I'm sure, a lot of feedback for us to dig through on this one to determine how and when this implements. Because yes, this one's creating a lot of chatter. We've got people that love it and want it now, and we've got people that are going, well, actually, can we not look at other things first?
Yeah, because let's be honest, we also debate this internally. This is kind of some of the original special sauce that has never been changed in the game since its inception, right? And should we be messing with something that's always been present? Again, this was something as requested by you, the community, that we wanted to dive a little bit more into and do what we can to improve this experience. Other options, if this is a direction we do not proceed forward with, could be more about how do we better reward and encourage players to defend their bases more often.
So yes, lots of ideas floating on that one. We want to hear what you guys are all thinking. So don't forget to throw it not only into the chat, but also into the Discord as well. I will get that link throwing back up now, just in case, you know, a couple of you aren't in there. You should come along and you can see the chat, well, the Discord chat, try and bully me. Happens on a daily basis, if that's your cup of tea. Honestly, I don't know what I've ever done to them. But moving on. We do have a few other things to cover that weren't in the roadmap. Because, well, these ones are all based off player feedback and are either being worked on with hyperspeed or are actually going to get seen with the next major update.
Yes.
Well, on some of these it was basically, bam, bam, I've got this, can we get this done? When can we get it done?
Yes. You and I have been having a lot of back and forth conversations on this one.
So let's start with Province.
Yes. So we've heard it from you, the players, Province map. This does not belong in high tiers. This does not belong in Cold War. We've been hearing it, and we know we wanted to wait to get collect enough data and just kind of see the engagement, because we do hear from maybe some players that, oh, that was kind of neat to see that map in a tier range that I'm not used to seeing it in. But to lean into what you guys have asked for, Province, starting on February 3rd, it will see a maximum of tier 8 now. So bringing it out of high tier, bringing it out of the tier 10, tier 9, and out of Cold War.
Yes. So that will come in with the next major update. And so will the next tidbit of information that you guys have been, well, I think that thread's a couple of thousand messages long now. It's been ongoing since the day we started this initiative, so I think players will be happy to hear about this one. If you want to take it away.
Yeah. Okay, so back in during our Gods of Thunder season, we introduced a change to our matchmaker. And we understand there was a lot of commentary in regards to our changes that we've applied. This was testing of the matchmaker to include both player as well as tank win rates experience as part of the weighting factor of balancing out the teams. Hearing you guys out loud and clear, we know that this update to the matchmaker has not been well received by the community. So as such, with the next big season update to the game, we are removing that win rate experience factor and returning to the previous version of the matchmaker prior to the Gods of Thunder season that happened this past summer. We are actively preparing a dev blog as well. This was going to give you guys more concrete and specific details about how our matchmaker works, because we see a lot of debate and deliberation, assumptions of how the matchmaker works. And we want to give you guys a little bit more transparency and provide you the details in how it works. And you can look forward to that dev blog sometime next week.
Yes, that dev blog will be possibly towards the tail end of next week, because we are making sure that all the details are absolutely correct so that you have the best information we can possibly give you on the matchmaker. But we will see it out by the end of next week.
Yeah.
So there's that update. So those updates for Province and the matchmaker. Oh, okay, there's a little bit more to the matchmaker, but those are both with the next major update, including this next tidbit about the matchmaker. Mr. Bam.
This is a small one. Yeah. So some of you may know we set special pairing matchmaking restrictions on a lot of tanks, specifically tanks that we see a lot of popularity for that can really overflow some matches. And we decided to pull some of those out from that matchmaking restriction now that these tanks have been out for quite a while and we don't see them as quite as a flood. Those tanks being the ELC Even, the Centurion Mark V AVRE, the FV 4005, and the M163 VADS.
Now, to clarify, that is the Cold War FV 4005.
Oh, thank you.
Not the Tier 10 version, so it's the Cold War. And the ELC Even, if you don't know which one that is, it's the one that people commonly refer to as Pedro and has got the Ice Queen minion skin. just because some people do just call it Pedro, and that's all they've ever known it to be. So
Yeah.
yes, there we go.
And one of the reasons for undoing these pairings, not only just because we don't see as much of a flood of these tanks in the ecosystem, but have seen reports from players simply unable to play these tanks into matches because, again, the matchmaker is trying to find, let's say you're queuing in with the Pedro tank, it's trying to look for another person also in queue with the Pedro to actually put you guys in a match together.
So those will come off the restrictions. Of course, this is all fairly dynamic. If we see that it's causing chaos again, we can throw them back on. But for now, the data that we've got says that these 4 do need to come off.
Correct.
And then, so that's everything for the next major update. This next bit of information is something we are actively looking at doing, and we're hoping that it will be in not the next major update, but the one after that. So
Correct.
you're looking 2 season updates time.
And that update would be surrounding Ardennes map.
Yes.
Another thing, yes.
Yes.
This is a map that we did remove out of Cold War rotation some time ago. But yes, we do still hear the concerns and complaints from the community that the map's base layout and spawn locations creates an imbalance of the map itself. So we are looking into this. This will be something we prioritize and get a change in. Again, not this upcoming season and title update to the game, but the one following that one. So we hear the feedback that it is ticketed and will be getting some changes.
Yes. So hearing that one loud and clear, we are going to adjust where those, either the spawns or where the base cap is. Don't know which one just yet because somebody hasn't told me yet. Yeah. But no, I do not need your feedback on Ardennes. Can you not see I'm working on it with the team, people?
KB's gotten me all the feedback. We've had a lot of conversation on this.
So yeah, I just keep dropping it in. It's like, bam, we're still getting bits on this.
Yeah.
So my next one's gonna be Type 61, and can we get an ammo buff to it?
Writing it down. I'll talk with the team.
So yes, there we go. So obviously, chat, you now see that I am getting somewhere and we're pushing your feedback through. Win for community! As they should all celebrate now. Yes, they're celebrating somewhat, but there we go. Right, okay, and now people have been asking in chat, what happened with all of the tests last year, from +1/-1 to auto-aim to the Cold War terrain resistance handling thing? They want to know, they heard us on the 9th basically say that we are looking at them, we would have more updates for them soon. A couple of them have asked in chat today on all 3 topics of, what was the result of auto-aim? Will we see another test? What was the result of +1/-1? So, bam! Where are we with that?
Where are we? Yes, we took a solid break during the kind of fall and winter period, but now as we're getting back into things, getting past our bigger events, we want to introduce more testing into the game. And I see your comment there, Dirt87. Terrain resistance was terrible. Well, as a heads up, terrain resistance is, in fact, the test we're getting back into. This is not to say we're not following up on more matchmaking +1/-1 testing, nor the auto-aim, that there will be more follow-ups on those. We have gone a bit of a deep dive in terms of some of our takeaways and data on some streams in the past. Happy to share some of those takeaways with you guys. Not for today's stream, because I know we're getting a little bit tight in time, but I do want to talk to you guys and go over the details for the upcoming terrain test. More specifically, we call this the terrain handling test. Let me give you guys some context, because I'm sure there are some users that missed out on the previous terrain test or just are generally unaware. So what is our terrain handling test? As an effort to improve our Cold War gameplay and quality of life, Design team has been testing and looking at ways to change tank speeds when driving between hard as well as soft surfaces. As an example, driving on the road versus driving in the dirt and grass and sand. Tanks that are generally heavier in weight will be more impacted by the terrain handling changes as expected, and this improvement would lend to better class variety, encouraging the roles of lights and mediums to lean into their strengths better as scouts and assault flank roles. Meanwhile, the heavy tanks can take role to cover the front lines and deal the higher damage as a follow-up. The overall goals of what we're aiming for here is to improve the Cold War gameplay experience, specifically eras 2 and 3, encourage more strategic gameplay by reducing those steamroll matches, as well as reducing a lot of the large wolf pack behaviors that we do see happening match over match across all the maps. And again, increasing our average match times. We plan to achieve these goals by having more parity in the terrain handling across all of the Cold War classes, specifically targeting average ranges of maximum speeds that both stock and upgraded tank configurations should be allowed to hit when they are driving off-road. So in our previous test that we did back in, I think, August or July, a lot of the feedback that we heard from you, the community, that yes, it made the heavy tanks feel more appropriate to the role, and in fact made them feel, well, heavy as a heavy tank. But we heard the comments that the test gave too much advantage to light and medium tanks who were unimpacted by these changes. Here to say, the upcoming test will now include several lights and medium tanks into the mix. And KB, if you will, just to give you guys kind of a visual demonstration, did put together a very quick look comparison of the terrain handling test of what it is like with it off versus what you guys will see in our upcoming test on Tuesday with it on.
Now, hopefully this works and it doesn't throw us straight to your extra camera we've got set up. But anyways, hitting the button. It worked. We're all good.
So did my best to kind of drive both the Abrams tanks relatively in the same location. This is on Hellfire Pass. When driving on any sort of trail or paved road, you will still hit your same max speeds that you see today. But when driving off-road, that is when you can immediately see your speeds will start to decline a little bit, and even turn radiuses can get won't be quite as tight. And this is also true when going uphill. Mind you, this map being Hellfire Pass, that has a very steep up-climb hill, mountain rather. This is more of a worst-case scenario of how much slower the tanks can climb with the terrain resistance in mind. But this is hopefully to give you guys a better visual representation of expectations when we go live with this next week. To answer, I see Gungrave's question here. This will be a week-long test starting just on Tuesday. And then one other thing I want to walk you guys through, looking at as a map example to better clarify what we talk about with terrain handling. The team has been working on going through a number of maps and editing the ground types to be more applicable to expectations. When you guys see roads or paved surfaces, you would expect that you can hit your higher speeds versus when you see sand or water, ponds and puddles, mud. Those are surfaces that we indicate more as a medium or a soft that will slow you down a little bit more. KB, really, because I'm not actively watching the stream.
It's up.
Do we
go
up.
for it?
Okay, perfect. Thank you so much. So we're looking at Azure Coast right now. This is in our map editing software. Most of you should hopefully be familiar with this map, or one of our previous community maps. This works as an excellent example as it has a lot of urban areas with much paved surfaces, as well as a lot of grass, sand, and of course the coastline where things are a little bit more medium and soft. So on the level editing side, the team would go through and we can one, systemically look at any sort of surface that is meant to be firm from like a paved surface or by the material. Anything that you see highlighted in green is a firm surface. This is where your tanks will be still able to hit their top speeds that they even do today. Now, when you start to get onto more medium surfaces, so now you're off-road, you're maybe into thicker grass patches or dirt, maybe mud, you will start to drop in speed a little bit more. And where you see the blue, this is where it's kind of like in a puddle, it's more of water. You will see a much stronger resistance hitting any sort of areas that are in kind of the water. And you'll see, I'll even come down to a popular flank that players like to hold here on the map, being the coastline of Azure Coast. Much of the sandy pockets and the areas that are actually just soaked in water itself is now primarily a soft terrain space. So you will have more difficult times going through these and trying to go from medium spot to medium spot as you try to move up from cover to cover. Anything red that you guys see here is just generally a slope. Generally, it's just going to be on spaces either outside the gameplay space or meant to be somewhere you simply cannot traverse upwards. But in any case, I hope that gave you guys a bit of a visual example of expectations of this test. Like I said, this is starting on Tuesday, but I'll give you guys another brief breakdown here. And KB, I'm kind of wrapped up on the screen share aspect of this. But what we are aiming for in eras 2 and 3 is kind of setting new average speeds when you go off-road. So light tanks, for instance, across all the light tanks in era 2, their average speed when going off-road will probably be closer to 70 kilometers an hour. With a maximum potential of the XM8800T is the fastest light tank that we have, hitting roughly about 82 kilometers an hour. Mediums will average more around 60 kilometers, and heavies will average more around 45 kilometers per hour. In era 3, that goes up a little bit more because you have higher horsepower engines. Light tanks will average 75 kilometers, mediums at 65, and heavies averaging 50. So about a 5-kilometer difference from era 2. Tank destroyers will also be updated as part of the terrain handling changes. However, their average speeds driving off-road will be based on their tank weights, because quite honestly, we have a lot of tank destroyers in the game that vary in size. For example, a tank destroyer that is relatively light in weight, expect it to share similar off-road driving speeds to that of our light class tanks. And then the last thing I will make note of in terms of our terrain handling test, we are going to drop the map rotation for Cold War in eras 2 and 3, specifically to the same maps that we had you guys test in the last time we did a terrain test. Helps give us a kind of apples to apples comparison. And these are also the best candidates to have the terrain handling test run through. So there's still about a dozen maps that will be in rotation for that week-long period. A lot of them still being the large-scale maps. And this is just to get us going and get feedback from you guys. We will have this up. I believe, KB, you could probably speak more to this than I, on Discord. There'll be a thread.
We will. There will be a thread that goes up after downtime on Tuesday. So by the time you've all got into the game and started playing, we will be able to throw the threads up. And also, just to clarify, there will be a article going live. Well, in fact, it might already be live. If not, it will be live after the stream. It will go through the list of tanks affected, because there are more than just your heavy tanks affected this time. So there are lights and everything that are affected. There are some of the TDs. The entire list of tanks is on that article, and it goes through which maps will be in rotation for the week.
Yeah. I do have one more note to make that I missed. When we talk about this terrain handling test, I want you, the players, not to look at this as a single funnel of this is a single change that we're doing to Cold War. We on the development side have a lot of other ideas and things that, as part of a longer term plan, we want to roll all of these things out to deliver a much more strategic and comprehensive set of gameplay adjustments to Cold War. So even if we do commit and decide that the terrain handling test is a success and we want to move forward with these changes, just know we don't stop there. We have other things in mind, because you, the players, will call out like, this just makes the light tank still too overpowered, or they make it too easy for them to get around. These are things we are actively thinking on, but we don't want to lump all of these test items into a single test frame for you guys. We have to kind of separate it out and see how things kind of work out little at a time. A good example is in our Halloween update, where we introduced the big skills and equipment rework.
Mm-hmm.
We wanted to make sure we tested the terrain test before those changes went out. Now we'll see how the feedback differs when you guys have equipment and skills that can also improve your handling on softer surfaces in the game. So keep that in mind when you're going out into battles in Cold War. Might want to take a look at your equipment and see if you need to reconsider any sort of opportunities for better driving and handling now, and see if that paves way for a more compelling gameplay experience.
Mm-hmm. Now, because a few people are still asking, +1, -1 is still being looked at. We haven't got anything concrete to share today. We are going with the terrain handling test as our first test of the new year. Doesn't mean that we're not still looking at +1, -1. It doesn't mean that we're not still looking at auto aim. But like Bams just said, we don't want to do all of these tests together, because then we start getting weird feedback across all parts. And it's one of these where we need to really nail down each bit individually and then bring them all together.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. Now, that wraps us up on all of the sort of dev topics. I've actually got a community topic to share. And I've even got some great little images to show as well, because I think a lot of you who are part of our competitive scene remembered last year that we would share some information about tournaments in January. We are now in the process of reopening up the server. So if you head on over to our competitive server now, you can grab yourself some shiny new language roles, and also the new and improved upcoming tournaments role, which will allow you to hear about all of our upcoming tournaments, whether that be World War II or Cold War. We are aiming to start with World War II, and to get that set of registrations open in early February. But that's not all I have to share, because these tournaments will get prized. And I have some sneak peeks at the unique camos that are getting built for our winners, but also for participation. So, our first one is, so on the, I think it's left-hand side, is our first place camo and our second place camo. No, there's no lizard camo for these. These are specifically for competitive prizing and also participation. And then we've also got a third place, and the green patterned one will be participation prizing for everybody who competes. Now, we're going to start with World War II, because lots of you obviously enjoy the World War II, and it's the ones that you guys know and love. So we're going to go with that. We're going to aim for a league-style format, and that means that, yes, we're aiming for all of the leagues to be prized. So it won't just be the top league, it will be all of them. And these will be specific to tournament prizing.
Very
so
cool.
Yes, if you're not already in that, I'm fairly sure it did go up, or at least I'm sure that commander's still working. If you want to keep up to date with all of the news and when registrations open for your regiments, you will want to be in that Discord, because it needs a lot of channels, it needs its own separate Discord. Unfortunately, I'm sorry for that, chat. But yes, things are moving. We're getting there slowly but surely. And the current plan is, because I can see some of you asking, the plan is for these not to be able to be brought, they will stay specific to tournament prizing. Because, well, you guys put a lot of work into the tournament. You sit there and put in scrims, you train, you work hard, you fight out over weekends when you could be spending time with your families. So yeah, these are for them. These are for the people that do put in a lot of time to the tournaments and keep the tournament scene going, basically. Right. And I think that is now everything.
That was a very meaty update.
It was a very meaty update. It was a very meaty update. So, chat, if there's stuff you want to bring in as feedback and you haven't had time to drop it into the chat, then please make sure you head on over to our main Discord server where you can either start your own feedback thread or see if there's a staff-created one for anything, you know, like roadmaps. Hint, hint, there's a staff-created one for roadmaps. So yes, make sure... No, we are not repeating everything, Sin. Get out of here. Oh. And I also need to go and order some food, because I've not eaten since dinner time, and I'm starting to get really hungry. So yes, and there's the food section that I mentioned earlier. And I'm fairly sure Bam's got another meeting to run off to.
In a little bit, yes.
So... chat.
Slows down here.
Yes, so we're gonna love you. We're gonna leave you. We're gonna drop you off with one of our CC or CAs who should already have their weekend drops live. The Labrador will have the final say about the food. That she will sit there and keep begging. Absolutely. Giveaway! Giveaway! Thank you! God, I'm so hungry. There's a giveaway. We've got it set up. Ah, it's there. It's running. Quick, download. I don't know if that actually makes you disappear while I'm set up like that.
I think I've disappeared temporarily.
Oh, I've done this the wrong way. I should have just imported it rather than opening it. Alright, do that, do that. Take that. I even got the spinny wheel all set up beforehand. It's sat in the background waiting to be used.
Listen, we covered a lot today. I feel like there was even some details I was like, oh, I had this in mind to talk to you guys about, but we kind of kept the ball rolling and lost track of certain things.
Right, let's get the wheel up and... Oh, come on. Come on. Why is it not working? Is it because now? Am I going to have to make Bam disappear for it to work? I am. Apologies.
Do what you need to do.
There we go.
The players deserve a giveaway.
But anyways, new colours. Red, pink, yellow, blue. Let's go. Because I really am hungry. And I'm hungry enough that I've forgot that there was a giveaway. This is for a SK105A2... Blah, 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 blah. Yeah. Official name for it. And there's two. There's going to be two winners. Right. Let's spin. Oh, that stuttered a bit then. Right. Skywalker 292, and it was pink.
Hey, congratulations.
There's winner one for an SK, because I'm not trying to say its full name. I will just absolutely butcher the full name of it. And then Laxco? Laxco?
Laxco.
I hope I've got that right. Congratulations. It was pink again. That's a bit weird. But yes, congratulations to you both. You have won yourselves SK105A2s. And now we're going to love you and leave you. If you're on Twitch, stick around. We will be finding somebody to raid. If you're on YouTube, we will see you again on Tuesday, where we're going to be exploring the Cold War resistance handling terrain testy thingy mabob. I will get that right one day this week. I will. I promise, chat. I will get it right at least one day this week. Anyways, We will see you all later, everybody. I have to bring my hand
Stay
down there.
warm.
There we
Happy
go.
thinking.
Bye bye.